number of us years ago who were global leaders of tomorrow were sitting around looking at the competitiveness index and saying, why doesn't the environment have a similar kind of benchmarking? So many fields have been transformed by having good data and the ability to compare performance. In the slide, you can see medicine has been transformed, business has been transformed, even in the lower right, policing has been transformed by bringing data to bear. So the question we were asking ourselves as this group was, why not the environment? You know, even the world of sports has been transformed. For those of you who know baseball, there's the famous Billy Beane of the Oakland A's, who brought to bear data and looking at things in new ways, finding correlations, transformed how to pick the right players. Batting average, it turns out, isn't important. On-base percentage, more important. So finding new correlations turns out to be critical. So the puzzle we asked today is, why hasn't the environmental arena had the same kind of transformation? And the answer is, I think, because it's been religious in many regards in terms of who it brings into the field, who does the work. It's been deeply ideological and not underpinned by good analytics. So this is the idea. Transform environmental protection to be more economically rigorous, more analytically rigorous. And what it happens is that if you actually measure, you can change the basic model from command and control, where the government dictates answers, to one where the private market puts a price on harm and you can charge people. But you can't do it until you've got measurement of the harm. Now, it turns out as well that you have to have a number of other things to make it work, including the ability to do all the things listed here. Be careful about how you collect the data. Look for hidden issues. Try to really get the right numbers in place. And all of that is an important part of the shift of model to market mechanisms pricing harm. But it has great application. It means that you can then drive investments with a higher probability of success. You can really ensure that you are testing whether your investments pay off, shifting resources if they don't. And you can get out from under reliance on the kind of experts, gurus, which has been so much of the environmental arena over time. And then you can look at correlations that are unexpected. Everyone knows that wealth helps determine environmental success. But it turns out if you look here at every level of wealth, some countries overperform the regression line, some underperform. So other things are going on, like governance. It also democratizes decision-making by making the data available to others outside of the prevailing power structure, outside of government. It allows non-governmental organizations or even businesses to critique and be part of the debate. So I think what you see here is a different approach to decision-making in the environmental arena, important in policy, but important in every other realm as well. And one of the things you want to be careful is that you do measure the right things. You want to measure outputs if you can, not inputs. It's not how much money gets spent, but whether it's spent well. And you want to make sure you've got the right things in mind. And I think you want to make sure that you're actually doing the analysis carefully. So here is the Environmental Performance Index that this Global Leaders of Tomorrow group developed, ranking countries on 25 different metrics, clustered in 6 core policy categories, weighted, as you can see, based on expert judgment, into 2 big objectives, and finally, an environmental performance index. And it allows us to rank countries from 1 to 150. That's how many we have data on. But it turns out that is not as useful as clustering countries in peer groups, because people are more interested in how they compare to those that they think they're alike compared to the tall list. So Haiti didn't think it was going to compete with Sweden and Finland at the top. But it is interesting why Haiti is at 125th and the Dominican Republic is 43rd. Now, there are challenges to data-driven decision-making. There's the famous Disraeli line about lies, damn lies, and statistics. So you want to make sure you are actually measuring the right things, actually unveiling the assumptions beneath your analysis, and really working to make it credible by being transparent. We now have more than 80 countries that are using this Environmental Performance Index to gauge their success, to check their performance against other similarly situated countries. And I think we've helped to drive the world onto a much more analytically rigorous approach to environmental decision-making, much more in the way of data and facts underpinning choices. So this is a little bit of background for those who want to get more information. Our partners have been the World Economic Forum, Columbia University's Earth Institute, and the Joint Research Center, the Statistics Group of the European Commission. It's a deeply interdisciplinary project, one that tries to bring to bear information from outside the environmental arena to help shape the methodology of how good decision-making is done within that arena. Thank you.